By the end of this video, you'll have something that looks like this. So you can place objects. These are your placement tiles, and if I add another one, as you can see, we have, and these, the white one are plants. These are plants. So in the plants cannot be placed if you don't have a placement object, placement tile, which is our fertile land here. So this is what we'll be creating. This is the basic form of farming, and we'll be increasing above this. To make sure, subscribe and hit the bell if you don't want to miss anything. So let's get straight to the coding. All right, so let's get straight to the video. What I'm gonna have to do is we need two objects. So before I even start, I want to make sure that this is not a beginner's tutorial. Please understand, because this is a little bit harder to implement, and especially when it comes to farming and all the kinds of stuff, this can be a little bit tough. So if you have a beginner background, if you don't know how coding works and stuff, please learn the basics, then come back. And remember, I will be creating a Unity course soon, so make sure you subscribe if you don't want to miss anything. So let's get started. First, we need two variables. So we need two variables which are called placement object and a plant object. So let's get private game object, and I'm using, what am I using, by the way? I'm using Riders. I'm using Rider. So if you want to use Rider, you can do that. Placement object, and let's say private game object. Let's say plant object. So these are the two objects we need to actually start. And in the late update function, because while late update, there's an update, the start, there's a lot of stuff. Late update, because I want this to I want these logics to run after the update function, so everything it doesn't mess up. So that's why we're using update function. There's a start function as well. There's updates, fixed update functions, and there's a lot of stuff. We'll be looking at them step by step in the later videos. So let's get started. Let's start coding. So if let's look at the behavior a little bit here. When I click, I want the placement tile to pop up, right? So how am I going to implement? I'm going to say if tab. I hit tabbed, by the way, if you are wondering. So get mouse button down and 0, which means the left key. You can use keycode.mouse 0 as well, but that's the most easiest way to do it. Now it's time for the part. Now the way it works here is come on, man. So the way it works here, when I click on the left arrow, a invisible line from the mouse to the world point, it throws a ray. If it finds nothing, then it will add a placement tile. If it finds something, which is obviously the placement tile, it will plant the plant object. So remember how I created these two objects. I'm gonna show you in the next video, in the next parts or something. And yeah, so let's go. What we want is a ray between these two objects, but before we do that, we need to throw the ray. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to say mouse pose equals to camera.main screen to world point, which basically does a thing or what I explained, mouse position. And we need to make sure that the vector3 is a collection of three values: the x value, y value, and z value. But we don't need the z value because we are obviously playing a 3D we are obviously playing a 2D game. So how I'm going to do that, I'm going to say mouse pose 2D equals to new vector2. We'll say mouse pose dot x, mouse pose dot y, and 0, because I don't want, we don't want that. Okay, we convert this to a mouse pose 2D object. Now what you'll need to do is we need to throw a ray, I think. Raycast 2D hit. Now this is the hit variable that we need, really, hit 2D, fine name. And I'm gonna say if 2D equals, I think we can equals to say physics 2D dot raycast, we need an origin. So origin meaning the mouse post 2D, and we need a vector 3.0 here. The reason we do that, because the vector 3.0 is the direction forwards in the 2D space. And yeah, so we cast this 2D object. Now we need to take its rotation. If let's say if tab and f say if to hit 2D dot collider dot let's say a collider not equals to null, which simply means that if it doesn't hit something, if it does the collider will be true. Okay, collider will have something when I hit, but when I hit nowhere, like I clicked on this, so this guy, there's nothing, this will return a null. So I want to say if not equals to null, which means we hit something. I don't know what is that, but we hit something. Then we need to place the plant object, and if we don't hit something, which is meaning that this is nowhere to be found and we have nothing, we will place the placement object to it. Okay, so let's go. So let's just say equals to null, which means simply we didn't hit something, right? We need to instantiate. We will be creating a function soon, so don't worry about it. Placement object, and we will say where can we do that? Placement object. Can I use mouse post 2D, please? And at quaternion.identity. Yep, I can. Yes. Okay. So we have finally done everything. Now I'm gonna say if hit 2D dot collider equals not equals to null. If we don't do that, we need to instantiate plant object. Sorry. Plant object, plant object at hit 2D dot collider dot game object dot transform dot position. Sorry. Yeah, there shouldn't be a problem, please. Position at quaternion dot identity. Okay. Now, if you're wondering, this guy is a 3D vector and this guy is a 2D vector, then what are you doing here, right? Yeah, you're absolutely right. So in this line, I'm gonna create a new vector file. Sorry, my mouse is not working today, the scroll wheel or something. So we need to convert this position to a vector 2 position. So I'm gonna just cut this thing down, and I'm gonna say var, let's say obj position 2D, and we just say this is a collider, right? Collider collider position 2D equals to this is a vector 3 and position, damn it, and I'm gonna say var col position 2D equals to a new vector 2. I would say colpos.x colpos.y, and the z will be 0, don't worry about it. And I'm gonna add colpos 2D here. Okay, so if you understood what I have coded so far, you are good to go. But if you haven't, don't worry, because it is a little complex. If you came from the Godot background, this can be a little bit complex. I understand. Okay, don't worry about it. So we have our stuff ready, hopefully. Now we need to create these two things. These two things easily can be created. What you'll do is go to the we need to create a new, click on the plus icon to the object sprite, and let's say new placement tile. And in the sprite render, we'll add a box collider. Don't forget to add a box collider, please. Don't forget, okay? We need to add a background, and I'm gonna change its color. And after that, let's reset its position. This is really important, or you can do that later if you want, but I'm gonna reset this guy. and it's just gonna drag this is a prefab, by the way, if you're wondering what the heck is this line meaning. This icon means, dang it, I'm gonna open the prefab and I'm gonna change the properties to like 5 to scale it up a little bit because it's too small. Come on, man. Oh, this sorry. Scroll wheel is not working. Okay, don't worry about it. So this is gonna say this guy is huge. I'm gonna delete it. Go to the world manager and a lot of stuff I have not shown you is how do you create a script. Okay, so what you do is we create a new random game object that create empty. I hit straight to the coding, I'm sorry about that. And we just add right click, create C# script, world manager. And I don't want any manager and stuff. I'm gonna delete the script right here. Okay, so you'll just add the game, the world manager, world manager here, and that's about it. That's about how you create a blank game object. So hopefully you understood. Remember that if you've forgotten the stuff, is you need to reset this guy, and we need to add a box collider. And this thing is the same, but I haven't added a box collider for some reason. We'll be adding a circle collider because circle collider 2D. Okay. So we have basically done when it comes to the placement tiles and stuff. I'm gonna drag and drop my okay. Where is it? Oh, okay, I never understood that there's another stuff. There's the private. Now you need to make sure that it is public. Okay, public. I'm gonna save, and in the world manager you can see the 2 files already has been there. None. Right, and you say, okay, that's fine, but in programming practice it's a really bad practice to make make variables public. You need to make sure that you make your variables private. Now as you can see, the problem arises that how am I going to get access to these values? I have to add the placement object and the plant object, right? You need to use a thing. It's a little bit weird syntax, but it's called the serialized field to actually you are able to see without making it a private. So you need to use the serialized field instead. Hopefully understood what I talked about. And I want to make sure that this is not a beginner's tutorial, I repeat. So if there will be an error, obviously, because I never assigned it. So let's assign the placement object. I'm gonna go to new placement tile, boom, plant object, same thing, boom, and run. And problems. Now what the heck am I supposed to do? Object instance is not the part of the object. Okay, let's see. Object references is not set to the instance of that object. What is going on here? Okay. It says 21. Let's see. 21. This is the problem. What is going on here? Object preference is set to not in the instance of that object. Okay, I'm gonna write it again. All right, let's just change the placement tile and then let's see what happens if I messed it up or something. messed up somewhere. Okay, where is the problem here? Should I change this to a plant object? Sorry. Plant object. If I'm back. Okay, the problem was the problem was like it was like messed up or something, okay? So what I want you to do is just remove the this part and it should work fine. And just copy and paste this stuff and we'll be fine. But there's a one problem here. Well, if I run and if I look at this, see, it created the placement object here, but it doesn't appear. The reason is we are not setting up. If I look, let's rerun this again and let's see. And if I look at this here, we have our transform, as you can see, z equals to 0. But if I remove this thing like 0.51, it shows up. The easiest way to do this is basically by creating another vector, which meaning the var mouse pose redefined equals to new vector 3, and I will say mouse pose dot x, mouse pose dot y, and 1. 1 should be a really nice number, and we'll be using mouse pose dot x. Nope, we're using mouse pose redefined dot x and mouse pose redefined dot y. And yep, and you can use the 3D vectors as well if you want, but it should be, and nope, it doesn't work. So what we can do here is, instead of 2D, let's just stay into the redefined state. We just need this guy from there, and instead of saying, I'm going to say mouse pose instead of mouse pose redefined. So we are not using the 3D, we are using the 3-dimensional instead of the 2-dimensional because Unity sucks. And it's now working. As you can see, it's now working. If you're not, just make sure you copy and paste this lines really carefully. And I'm gonna like save you some time here. Okay, now we are done with the first part. Now the next part is so simple. You need to make sure to add a else if statement. Else if I'm gonna say a input else if hit.collider not equals to null. If it's not, we will make sure to instantiate this lining, meaning if it hits something, so a raycast hits something, it means we have successfully planted the place object, and now it's time to add the plant object. So plant object dot transform, let's see what we can do. This is by mouse I'm messing up. So let's just add we need another variable here. We need to get the hit to these collider forms. So simply what I need to do is hit to the redefine. So var hit to the let's say hit to the collider position equals to hit to the dot collider dot transform dot position, and just put that guy down here. I know it will not work, but I will show you if it works. Hit to the dot solution and quaternion dot identity. God damn it. And I don't have waste of time. I don't want to waste it. Just go down and make sure these guys are set up. This is not really a tutorial because I'm still learning and it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? Can anybody help me out here? I think just leave it to the here. Maybe it will work. Sometimes I don't know what happens to these guys. But okay. Hit that collider and transform the position. Let's back to so I'm gonna put that thing down here. Hit that collider to transform the position. Basically say the same crap, but instead of this, instead of there. And there should be, see, for some reason it works now. And it works crazy. See, and this is the placement tiles, and I coded the instantiate place object at this position. Oh, I got it. Why? You need, before you do that, you just need to cut this out. We need to get a var new. God damn it, position 2D equals to hit position 2D, hit position, wow, hit position 2D, copy and paste. What do you mean? Oh, okay, oh, there you go. And now write this and it should work, because it changes, the hit component changes, and but the problem is it can overlap. So let's fix this crap right now. How will you fix it? We will be using a rounded instead of the mouse pose.x and mouse pose.y, and let's get straight to let's go straight doing that. And what I'm gonna do is, instead of mouse pose, so I'm gonna say mouse pose x rounded equals to a new vector 3 mouse pose mathf dot round mouse pose dot x and mouse pose var mouse pose y rounded equals to mathf dot round mouse pose dot y. God damn it. Okay, we're gonna add this, and instead of this time we'll go mouse x rounded. Basically what rounding does, it's instead of using the float values, it uses the integer. For example, if you have like 3.1416 the pi, it will use 3 instead of 3.14 something. So this is what round does, and we are redefining it, and should work. If it doesn't, I need to see why it doesn't. Okay, I'm gonna write, and let's see, and it adds a, as you can see, it works fine. And we can add these easily instead of making up. Okay, this is how you create a simple system, and there's a gap between. We'll be fixing them sooner or later. I actually don't know why. Oh yeah, I know how to fix them. Wow, I know. Just go here, instead of the box slider, and we need to make sure the box slider like a little bit like that, a little bit like this, go up a little bit like this, and boom, boom. Save, back, and then run. I know, a lot of questions, and still it doesn't. Oh goodness sake, for goodness sake. Still it doesn't. Let's change the scale here. Let's see what the scale does. Let's change here. Let's say 7 and 7. I think you need a specific scale to actually work like there. And as you can see, it works. And we can add things right now. So this is how you create a simplistic farming system. We'll be changing them later. I don't know how much I have recorded so far. It's about 24 minutes of really, this is not a tutorial. Okay, this is not 24-minute tutorial. It's about doing the stuff. So make sure you guys subscribe, and if you're bored, I'm sorry. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.